What are the main hopes you think you'll have at the end of this? How do you think you're going to use what you found? Do you know yet? Or is it still quite uncertain as you're not sure how things are going to end up?
Well, of course, of course, there are still, there's still the possibility that what we're going to see is, it could go either way in terms of carbon storage. But my guess at the moment is that we'll be able to say something about how to manage these established forests, temperate forests, for carbon. I think we'll be able to say quite a lot of detail about that going forward. And that's important because at the moment we're planting trees like crazy, but very quickly, just in a few decades, they're going to be getting to be established forests, and we need to think about how to manage them properly, because we can't just plant more and more forests forever. We have to think about managing the forests as forests for carbon.
I look forward to hearing how it all goes.
Yeah, well, you'll be very welcome back now.
Yeah, it would be good to come back and see the end, maybe get some of the helicopter coming in and taking the stuff out, because that's the other thing we haven't mentioned is all of this has got to come back out of the woodland. That's
the commitment we've made. So this is a £50 million programme of research.
Wow.
Well, in fact, that's not really the research. That's just the infrastructure and making the experiment run. So it's fairly significant, even on global terms. It's along with two other experiments. There are three roughly similar-sized experiments that are the biggest experiments of global change in the world. So this is a big experiment. It was made possible by philanthropic giving and also by the university itself. And that also makes it unusual because most of these experiments are government funded.
Yeah.
But the philanthropy was really important here because it allowed us to think. In fact, it insisted, the donor insisted that we were ambitious. Mm-hmm. So rather than going back to the philanthropist and saying, well, could I just do the same thing I've been doing for the last 10 years, but with more money?
Yeah.
It was really about changing the game. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think we've done with BIFOR FACE. We've really changed the state of research, certainly in the UK forest sector, but I think right across the temperate zone.
So are those other projects part of the same sort of investment and scheme? Are they?
No, they were separately funded and funded by their own separate schemes. Okay. But one of those is another FACE facility like this one, but in eucalyptus forest, old eucalyptus forest, just outside Sydney. We work very closely with that one. And then we're hoping that there'll be more forest FACE facilities to build up that network, because of course we want to know about the temperate forest. We want to know about the eucalyptus forest, which is a good example of a kind of Mediterranean type climate. But we want to know about the rainforest. We want to know about the boreal forest, of course.
Isn't there an Amazon FACE?
Yeah.
Amazon FACE. So Amazon FACE is also on the cards. We're very, very hopeful of that going forward soon.
So that's a potential new one.
That would be a new one, and that would be rainforest, the sort of super wet rainforest. And then, were you asking about the last?
The third one.
Yeah, boreal. So boreal meaning the northern, round the Arctic, those big Siberian and Scandinavian and Canadian forests.
No, I thought you mentioned there were three sites.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, the third big experiment that is ongoing is in Minnesota. It uses a slightly different setup. It uses containment. So there are these.
Biomes, essentially.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They're called open-top chambers. So they have exchange at the top, but they've got walls, and they're looking in bog. It's a really fascinating, really fascinating project at that tree line to bog transition. So they've got tiny little spruce trees. But lots of sphagnum moss and those kind of things in there, and of course they have to be even more careful than we are about getting in, not putting your foot in it.
Okay, brilliant. Should we move on to the
next bit? Let's go.
Okay, so